Did you know doctors warn that putting certain foods in the refrigerator could increase the risk of cancer for your whole family? We all grew up believing that the refrigerator is the safest place to protect our groceries from spoiling. But as we pass 70, we must understand that cold air can sometimes trigger chemical changes that are far from healthy. In this video, we are going to talk about 5 specific foods that you should never store in the refrigerator if you want to protect your family's vitality. These insights are not based on old myths, but on real patterns that researchers have observed in how certain foods behave when they are chilled. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to organize your kitchen to maximize your safety, and, more importantly, what you can do to ensure your meals remain a source of strength rather than a source of concern. Stay tuned until the end, because you might be making a very common mistake with a staple item that could be impacting your health right now. Once you recognize these risks, you will have a clear idea of how to keep your kitchen truly safe and healthy for the years ahead. Now, let's get started. Number 1, the leftover vegetable dishes. One of the most surprising foods that can become dangerous in the refrigerator is leftover green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, and celery. These vegetables are naturally high in nitrates, which are generally very healthy for your blood pressure and heart. However, when these cooked vegetables are stored in the refrigerator and then reheated later, the nitrates can be converted into nitrites, and then into nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are highly potent carcinogens that have been linked to a higher risk of stomach and esophageal cancers. For seniors, who often rely on cooking large batches of food to save time, this can be a hidden trap that affects the health of the entire family. Consider Dorothy, a 74-year-old woman who took great pride in her healthy diet. She would cook a large pot of vegetable soup with lots of greens every Monday and eat it throughout the week, reheating it in the microwave day after day. She thought she was doing everything right to stay healthy and strong. What she did not realize was that each time she reheated those greens after they had been sitting in the fridge, she was potentially increasing the concentration of harmful compounds in her soup. She started experiencing frequent indigestion and a lingering discomfort in her stomach that she dismissed as just getting older, but her body was actually sending a signal that it was struggling to process the chemical changes in her food. The true wisdom of nutrition after 70 is understanding that fresh is almost always best. This does not mean you can never have leftovers, but it means you should be very careful about how you manage your green vegetables. The good news is that you can minimize this risk by only cooking the amount of greens you plan to eat in one sitting, or by eating your leftover vegetables cold rather than reheating them to high temperatures. This prevents the chemical conversion that creates those dangerous nitrosamines. By making this adjustment, you are preserving the heart-healthy benefits of your greens while removing the risk to your digestive system. It is a way of being proactive about your health and ensuring that your efforts to eat well are truly paying off. Your body is a temple that has served you for 7 or 8 decades, and it deserves the highest quality of fuel. This is not about being afraid of your food, it is about being informed and making choices that support your longevity. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your cells, and by avoiding these storage mistakes, you are giving your family the gift of health and peace of mind. Number 2, the refrigerated potato starch. Potatoes are a staple in almost every American household, but the way you store them can have a profound impact on your family's risk of developing cancer. When potatoes are stored in the cold environment of a refrigerator, a chemical reaction occurs where the starch is converted into sugar at a much faster rate than normal. This might not sound dangerous at first, but when these high-sugar potatoes are later cooked at high temperatures, such as when you fry, roast, or bake them, they produce a chemical called acrylamide. Acrylamide is a known carcinogen that has been linked to various types of cancer in numerous health studies, and for seniors whose bodies are already working hard to repair cellular damage, this extra toxic load can be especially risky. Consider Linda, a 68-year-old woman who always kept her bags of potatoes in the bottom of the fridge because she thought it would prevent them from sprouting. She loved to make roasted potatoes for her grandchildren every Sunday, thinking she was providing a wholesome and traditional meal. What she did not know was that by refrigerating those potatoes, she was inadvertently increasing the levels of acrylamide in the very food she was serving to her loved ones. She noticed that the potatoes often turned a dark, burnt brown color very clear's throat quickly in the oven, which is a telltale sign of that chemical reaction taking place. The true wisdom of maintaining a healthy kitchen is learning that some things are best left in a dark, cool, but not cold pantry. By keeping your potatoes at room temperature in a paper bag, you preserve the integrity of the starch and prevent that dangerous conversion into sugar. This ensures that when you cook them, they remain a safe and nutritious source of energy. Number 3. The raw onion halves. It is a common habit for many of us to use half an onion for a recipe and put the other half in the refrigerator for law. However, this is a practice that can be quite hazardous to your health. Onions are highly absorbent by nature, and once they are cut, they act like a magnet for bacteria and pathogens that are floating in the air of your kitchen and your refrigerator. Even in a chilled environment, the cut surface of an onion begins to oxidize and can quickly become a breeding ground for germs that can cause food poisoning or contribute to systemic inflammation. Take, for instance, Barbara, an 81-year-old woman who lived in a small apartment and took great pride in her frugal nature. She never wanted to waste even a small piece of a vegetable, so she would wrap her leftover onions in plastic film, and keep them in the fridge door for days. She started noticing that she was catching colds more often and feeling a general sense of fatigue that she could not explain. What Barbara did not realize was that the refrigerated onion was no longer a healthy vegetable. It had become a source of bacterial contamination that was taxing her immune system every time she added it to her salads or soups. Number 4. The opened canned goods. Many seniors have a pantry filled with canned soups, vegetables, and beans because they are convenient and easy to store. But a very dangerous mistake occurs when you open a can, use only part of it, and then place the remaining contents back into the refrigerator while still inside the original metal container. Once a can is opened, the tin or steel is exposed to oxygen, which causes a process of oxidation to begin immediately. In the cold, moist environment of the refrigerator, this oxidation can happen even faster, leading to the metal leaching into the food. Furthermore, many cans are lined with a chemical called BPA to prevent corrosion, and once the seal is broken and the can is chilled, this chemical can also migrate into the food more easily. BPA has been linked to hormonal imbalances and an increased risk of certain cancers. The good news is that you can easily make this habit safer by simply transferring your leftovers into a clean glass or ceramic container before putting them in the fridge. Number 5. The cold-stored tropical fruits. Many of us love to keep our fruit bowls full of vibrant colors, and it is a natural instinct to put everything in the refrigerator to make it last longer. However, tropical fruits like bananas and mangoes are designed by nature to thrive in warm environments, and they do not have the natural defenses to handle the harsh cold of a modern fridge. When you put a banana in the refrigerator, the low temperature breaks down the cell walls of the skin and the fruit itself, which is why it turns black so quickly. This isn't just a cosmetic issue. The breakdown of these cells releases enzymes that can lead to rapid rot and the development of microscopic molds that are not always visible to the naked eye. Tropical fruits are meant to ripen on the counter at room temperature, where they can develop their full range of antioxidants and vitamins. By chilling them, you are essentially reducing the very nutrients that you are trying to consume for your health. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, take a moment to reflect on your own kitchen habits. Have you been putting some of these foods in the refrigerator without knowing the potential risks to your family? The goal of this discussion is not to make you fearful of your refrigerator, but to empower you with the wisdom to use it correctly. You have the power to create a safer environment for yourself and those you love. The good news is that these changes are simple, cost-free, and can be started today. These are small acts of self-care that build a foundation of health.